This section will be the first of three separate sections, which are going to discuss how to capture pet photos using your iPhone. This first section is going to be focused on the photography element known as subject. Before we get into this section, we're going to look at some of the fundamentals of photography. A good photo makes good use of light, composition, and subject. These three elements are at the core of photography. Each of these elements inform one another. A certain type of light may alter your composition. Your subject may alter the way that you light or compose them. It's important to consider all three of these elements when taking photos. This can, of course, become complicated for a beginner. By breaking each of these sections down, I'm sure that we can simplify it and allow you to walk away feeling confident using all three of these elements in your photography. Good photography happens when all three of these elements come together uniquely to capture a great moment. In the following sections of this course, we're going to discuss each of these elements separately and talk about how it can relate to taking photos of our pets using our iPhone. This section is going to discuss the subject element. Quite simply, we already know the subject of our photograph, and that's going to be our pets. Depending on the type of pet that you have, whether it's a dog, a cat, or another type of pet, you are probably going to have to approach the photo taking process a little bit differently. And every pet has their own unique personality, which is going to introduce certain challenges and also certain moments that might not be possible with other pets. When you're taking pictures of dogs, it can be great to dedicate time to taking photos of them. They'll usually be at least somewhat receptive to this activity. It can be great to do this alongside with something that they really enjoy doing, like going for a walk or playing fetch or playing with one of their favorite toys. By incorporating an activity that they enjoy into the photo taking process, you can get a lot more natural looking results. Something that you can do before you even start taking pictures is to prep your environment. Nothing ruins a good photo quicker than a cluttered image. If you're shooting indoors, this can be a little bit tricky. If you can, it's great to take the time to clean your environment before you start taking photos. That way the focus can stay on your pet and there's no distracting elements in the background. We'll be getting into this a little bit more in the next section, but if it's not possible for you to get rid of some of the clutter in your environment, you can simply shoot away from the clutter. One of the bigger challenges of taking pictures of pets and specifically taking pictures of dogs is getting their attention long enough for you to be able to get your picture. There's a few things that can help with this. In terms of getting their attention, using something like a sit and stay command can help a ton if that's something that they're receptive to. Having treats on hand can really help them to behave. You can also work with toys or props to get them to look towards the camera or just to simply keep them in place. The other part of this is to be ready to take pictures of them. Having your iPhone in hand with your camera open is really going to help. You usually don't get a lot of time to snap that picture, so being ready for that moment when they look towards the camera or they do something adorable is going to go a long way in helping you capture those moments. By getting help or assistance off camera, you can alleviate some of those duties to them, have them focus on getting your pet engaged and keeping their attention long enough for you to take your picture. And then you can be ready with your iPhone to snap those precious moments. Rewarding them for their positive behavior is really going to help in keeping them engaged for the long term. The phone can kind of act as a barrier between you and your dog. Once you snap a few photos, put the phone down, play with them, engage with them, make some eye contact, give them some positive reinforcement. That's going to keep them in it a lot longer. Another great trick is to get them active before you start taking your photos. Take a lap around the yard or play some fetch with them before you take your pictures. With dogs, it's usually better to take pictures of them when they're excited versus when they're tired. Planning a photo shoot with your dog is a great way to make sure that you're going to get some great photos of them. Don't forget to look for those candid moments with your dog too. These can make for some really special photos and can really capture the personality of your dog. Lastly, experiment and try to capture new and unique perspectives of your dog. All in all, when it comes to photographing dogs, I think it's best to really focus on keeping them engaged and ways to keep their attention. If you can, I highly recommend getting some help and assistance off camera so that person can focus on those things and you can just focus on getting great photos of them. When it comes to taking photos of cats, depending on their personality, they might not take too well to posed photos. Instead, they will give you loads of interesting candid moments to capture. Look for weird, funny, or interesting behavior and be ready to capture it. It might be best to let your cat come to you in order to get the best photos of them. Cats are naturally curious. Use that to your advantage. If they're usually curious about a certain activity that you do, maybe try fabricating yourself doing that in order to grab their attention. Toys can be a great way to engage cats and get their attention to take photos of them. This largely depends on your cat, but catnip can also work great to engage them or make them more playful when taking photos of them. Recruiting help or assistance can again help taking photos of your cat, since that person can be focused on getting their attention with the use of something like a toy, and you can just focus on getting those great photos. Cats will usually follow light during the day, so looking for those moments where the sun beams through your windows and watching where your cat is can also be a great way to capture them in good light. Nap time can be a great time to take pictures of cats. After eating or post-nap can also be a great time to take photos of them while they're relaxed. Capturing unique perspectives is again another way to take great photos of your cat, trying to get close and capture those small details or finding a unique perspective to capture them from. There are many other animals besides cats and dogs that are cared for as pets. Some of the previously mentioned tips and tricks may also work for them, but some may not. Shining the best light on your pet, regardless of what type of animal they are, ultimately boils down to engaging with them, recruiting assistance or off-camera help, noticing their behavior, shooting in an ideal environment, decluttering your environment before you start shooting, and being ready to capture those spontaneous moments. When it comes to capturing spontaneous moments, again, have your iPhone ready with your camera open. The time that it takes you to get your phone out and your camera open can sometimes be all it takes for that moment to slip away. The iPhone has a couple of great features that can really help capture those spontaneous moments of your pet. The first one is burst mode. In order to use the burst mode on your iPhone, first open your iPhone's camera. Then when you go to take a picture, instead of tapping on the shutter button, quickly tap and drag your finger to the left, and this is going to enable your burst mode. You'll see a number start counting up quickly, and this is signifying how many images you've captured. Once you're done taking that burst, you can go into your Photos app and look through all of the images that your iPhone has taken and select the best frames from that burst. Once you've selected your favorites, you can then save those as individual images, and I'm sure that you'll find that perfect moment where everything fell in place. The live photo feature can also be a great help in capturing that perfect moment. When you use a live photo, your iPhone captures a little bit before and a little bit after you snapped your shot. So after you've taken a live photo, you can go into your Photos app, tap Edit, navigate to the live photo panel, and drag your finger along the slider to select that perfect moment and save that as your key photo. Another common problem is that something spontaneous or funny happens and your environment isn't pre-prepped to take photos and there's a lot of clutter in your environment. In order to quickly declutter your environment in these spontaneous moments, try to exclude those distracting elements. Sometimes it can be simply a matter of shifting your perspective a few centimeters to get rid of that clutter. If that doesn't work, there's always advanced editing processes that can remove those distracting elements. In the next section of this course, we're going to continue this discussion on capturing pet photos on your iPhone, but we're going to look specifically at how to compose your images.